Let's look at Biur Mishnah Zayin, the explanation for Mishnah Zayin. Amar Rabbi Meir. This is a continuation actually of the previous Mishnah. So Rabbi Meir says, look at what we just said. Look at what we just learned. Midivrehem, from the words Shel Rabbi Chanina Sgan HaKohanim, of Rabbi Chanina, the vice Kohen, ורבי עקיבא, and the words of Rabbi Akiva, שלא נמנעו הכהנים מלשרוף את הבשר שנטמא. That we see the Kohanim weren't worried about spreading impurity from third to second, or even maybe from third to first. בבלד הטומאה עם הבשר שנטמא בעבתנו, למדנו, we learned, ששורפים תרומה טהורה עם הטמאה. Here we have pure chametz, that is, for example, you're a Kohen. You're a Kohen. That's right. You're a Kohen, and you received truma. You received present of wheat, and you made from it kosher, pure bread, and you also have impure bread that you touch in your house, right? So Pesach comes, you have to eliminate both chametz. You have to burn them both. You have to make sure throughout the time that the pure food will never touch the impure food in your regular life. But now that you're burning it, do you have to make two piles? Yeah, do you have to make two chametz piles, or you can make one chametz pile and burn them together? So you can say, we can learn from the temple that you can burn them together. Yeah, that's what he's trying to say. Okay. Lamadnu, it says, from those ideas that we just learned from the Basar Kodashim, we learned ששורפים תרומה טהורה עם הטמאה, that we burn impure, pure truma with impure truma, יחד עם התרומה הטמאה בפסח, on Pesach, בערב Pesach, which means on the 14th. אף על פי שתרומת חמץ טהורה, even though that the truma of chametz which is pure, אינה אסורה באכילה בשעה שישית אלא מדברי סופרים, it's only prohibited from the words of the rabbis, מכל מקום מותר לשרפה יחד עם התרומה הטמאה ולטמא אותה. We're allowed to make it impure by it touching the impure truma. So it says, well, you're not allowed to do it. It says, oh, you're allowed to, but you wouldn't be allowed to do it at the beginning of the day. In the time of the burning, then you're allowed to. Before that time, you're not allowed to. But at the time of the burning, it says anyway you're going to burn it. So go ahead, do it. כשם שלדברי רבי חנינא ורבי עקיבא, it says I'm learning this from the words of רבי חנינא ורבי עקיבא. מותר לשרוף יחד בשר שנטמא בטומאה כולה. They says you're allowed to burn together sacrifices that became impure in a light impurity, עם הבשר שנטמא בטומאה חמורה, with the sacrifice that became impure in the heavy impurity, ולהוסיף טומאה על טומאתו, and to increase טומאה. אמר לו רבי יוסי, Rabbi Yossi says, well, how can you even learn this? He says, it doesn't make sense what you said. אינה היא עמידה, it says, it's not the same case. We don't have the same cases here. What's the difference? So it says, אינו טומאה מידתך, למידת רבי חנינא ורבי עקיבא. It's not the same case as what happened with Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva. You're doing something that Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva didn't do. What are you doing? שאם הם מתירים לשרוף, because they are permitting to burn בשר שנטמא בטומאה קלה, they're permitting to burn flesh that was impurified with a light impurity, עם בשר שנטמא בטומאה חמורה, with sacrifice that became impure with a heavy impurity. הרי זה מפני, that's why, שאף הבשר שנטמא בטומאה כולה, because the sacrifice, the meat that became light impurity, tamehu, it is impure. Over here you're taking something which is pure, and you are, so the other one is anyway impure. You have two impures, just one higher than the other ones in all the other cases. In all the other cases for Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva, it's two impurities. It depends how much impurities. Yeah? Over here you have one pure and one impure. You can't learn it.
Why is one pure?
Because the Truma Tehora is pure. It was never... What do you mean?
Time of it to eat it, pass.
Yeah, but it's a pure...
You have to burn it. It's not tahor.
It is pure. What do you mean it's not impure?
If the time, you can eat it. The time of it passed, you have to burn it.
Good, you can. It is a pure
The
thing.
essence of it is
Say,
pure.
you're trying to learn, he's telling him, from something which was impure, severe to impure light. Over here, you don't have the same case. You have something which is 100% pure with something which is impure. You can't do that. You can't learn it.
So what he's saying that the one that has to be burned is still in a way pure. It's not tamei.
That's right. So he says, how are you learning it from the other cases? You can't. ואין כאן אלא הוספת טומאה על טומאתו. Over in the cases of that we learned before, with the sacrifices, you have one impurity, and it becomes a more severe impurity. Over here, you have one pure becomes impure. It's a completely different case. How can you learn this? אבל אין ללמוד מכאן, but don't learn from here, שמותר לשרוף תרומת טהורה עם הטמאה. That don't learn from here that you're allowed to burn pure truma with impure truma. Rabbi Yossi says a very good point. בגמרא מבואר, in the Gemara it says, שרבי מאיר ורבי יוסי שניהם סוברים. It says both Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi actually agree on something. What do they agree on? שמה שאומר רבי חנינא, that when Rabbi Hanina says, לא נמנעו מלשרוף את הבשר שנטמא בבלד הטומאה, that they burnt the two impurity, the severe impurity with the less impure impurity, הרי הוא מדבר, it's talking about a case, אף בבשר שטומאתו באה בחמת משקים שנטמאו בכלי שנגע בשרץ. It is also about meat that became impure because of liquids that became impure in a vessel that touches sheretz, and that vessel becomes a via vota tuma, like it becomes just like the sheretz, whatever the sheretz is, or the dead person. In our case, it's a sheretz, becomes avatuma, and then because it's metal, it makes any liquids in it as much as him. שנגע בשרץ, ורבי מאיר סובר, and Rabbi Meir holds, שאין משקים מטמאים אחרים. Rabbi Meir says that liquids do not make other things tame, ואפילו אוכלים אלא מדרבנן. It's not from the Torah, it's only from the rabbis. ולפיכך הוא אומר, and therefore he says, שמאחר שלא נמנע מלשרוף בשר זה, שמן התורה טהור גמור הוא. So it says, the oil from the Torah is completely pure. ואינו טמא אלא דרבנן. So it says exactly the same case. This is according to the Torah, it's 100% pure. Only the Rabbanan makes it impure. So what's the difference? Over here also, it's tahor and impure. It's the same thing. אינו טמא אלא מדרבנן. It's only the rabbis. עם בשר שנטמא באב הטומאה, שטומאתו מן התורה. So now that we have pure from the Torah, touching impure from the Torah. It's true that the pure is from the Torah is not pure from the rabbis, but it is pure from the Torah. So in other words, again, the argument is how much power the rabbis have. That's what they have. So one says, that once the rabbi says it's impure, it's also impure becomes almost like the Torah. Another one says, no, it's only the Rabbanan. It still is pure from the Torah or not. That's the argument. נמצאנו למדים, we find ourselves learning, שהגיע שעה שישית בערב פסח, that once the 6th hour came on Yudaled of Nisan, מותר לשרוף תרומה טהורה, שהיא אסורה באכילה מדרבנן. תרומה טהורה, it is forbidden to be eaten from the rabbis, עם תרומה טמאה, with impure תרומה. ברם, רבי יוסי סובר, רבי יוסי thinks, שתרומת משקים לטמא אחרים מן התורה היא. He says it is a mitzvah from the Torah, not just from the rabbis. The impurity transfers. ולכן השיב לרבי מאיר, and that's why he tells to Rabbi Meir, עיניי מן המידה, you're making two different things. In other words, one thinks it's only asur, the impurity and the purity of the oil and the other food is only asur from the Torah, and one says it's from the rabbis. That's the condition. שהרי הבשר שהתירו להוסיף טומאה עליו, היה גם בתחילה טמא מן התורה. Also that meat was in the beginning impure from the Torah, ואילו כאן התרומה טהורה היא. But over here the truma is pure, not impure from the Torah. ואיסור אכילתה אינו למד רבנן, and the only prohibition to eat it is only from the rabbis. ואומנם, so let's look what the halacha is. ההלכה היא שטומאת משקים, the halacha is that the impurity of food, or liquids, לטמא אחרים, אינם מן התורה, אלא מדרבנן. It is the halacha is that it's not from the Torah, it's only from the rabbis. אבל בענייננו ההלכה כרבי יוסי. But still we're going to be worried like רבי יוסי. שאין שורפים תרומת טהורה עם הטמאה בערב פסח. That even though it's only the rabbis, we're not going to burn them together. We're going to be worried. And we're going to have two different piles. For pure and impure, because we don't want to spread it, even though it's only from the rabbis. ומודים רבי אליעזר ורבי יהושע. Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua come also to this argument. And what do they say? רבי יוסי מוסיף ואומר, and Rabbi Yossi adds, שאף על פי שרבי אליעזר ורבי יהושע, even though we have a disagreement later on, again, we're not going to learn this right now because we're going to learn later on when we get to Kachin, that Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua have a disagreement. חולקין לעלם בספק תרומת טמאה. It says, where they are arguing is not if it's the rabbis or not the rabbis. We have a case where the food that you have, you're not sure if it became pure from the Torah or not pure from the Torah. In other words, it's a suffix. It's a doubt whether this food is yes or not. In other words, so it's a doubt from the Torah, if it's not according to both of them. It says that's where they have the machloket. ששורפים זו לעצמה וזו לעצמה. It says only in that case you burn this one to this one. שאין שורפים תרומת טהורה עם הטמאה בשעת הביור בערב פסח, אלא כל אחד בפני עצמה. It's only in the case where you have doubt from the Torah. על מה נחלקו? So it says, so what is where's the disagreement? על התלויה, על התרומה שטומאתה תלויה בספק. They only disagree if it is if it's from the Torah, and it's a doubt whether it is from the Torah. ועל הטמאה שרבי אליעזר אומר תשרף זו לעצמה וזו לעצמה, and the impure that Rabbi Eliezer says this one will burn to itself and this one will burn to itself, שאף על התרומה שיש בה ספק טומאת אדם, that even though the truma has a doubt whether it is from the Torah or not, מוזהר על שמירתה שלא תטמא טומאת ודאי. Still you're required to make it. In other words, you have suffix. That doesn't mean because there's a suffix, because there's a doubt, don't make it impure. And the other one says, in that case, when you're burning it anyway, you don't have to worry about it. ורבי יהושע אומר, שתיהם כאחת. And Rabbi Yeshua says, no, in such a case where it is suffix from the Torah, they're all the same. מותר לשרוף שתי ביחד, you're allowed to burn both of them together. שהואיל ויש בה ספק טומאה, אין מוזרים על שמירתה. That because it has doubt from... Once it has doubt, we don't have the requirement to be worried about it. If only doubt. And the doubt has to be from the Torah, according to them. According to the Tanakama, Rabbi Meir, even if the doubt is from the Rabbanan, yeah, not even doubt. If it's just from the Rabbanan, you're allowed to put them together. But everybody else who says don't put them together, you only put them together if it's doubt. Then you put them together.